All right, so the goal here today is basically find out who you are as an individual, an artist,
Yes,
and just
sir.
to hear how you see the world and things around you, all right?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Dope. So to start off, break down your name and where'd you get it from and what does it mean to you?
Horus Ra Mindset. I came up with Horus Ra when I was probably about 15. My rap name before that, it was just something that goes with Ra. It's like Jordan Ra, that was always Ra. And then like when I had dropped out of high school, I started listening to a lot of jazz music because I started getting into production. So Sun Ra Orchestra was one of the first groups I got real into heavy. I used to listen to Sun Ra like all day. And I was like, man, you know, bro, man, fuck it, man, I'm finna be Horus Ra. Like I'm Horus Ra Mindset because it's like I'm using the influence from the samples that I heard to, you know, impact my music, you know, and it's a more so a Black historical name too. I feel connected to my culture with Horus Ra, you know, so that was another good reason why I did it.
Definitely. For those who don't know, break down Horus and what that would mean.
Horus is an actual. Well, he's from ancient Kemetic theology, you know, real like, you know, shoot, it's an actual falcon. It's a real falcon. It's an eye of Horus. It was all types of stuff that's like, you read about it through like Chancellor Williams. You read about it through, you know, because I went through a whole phase with just Black political everything, and I was so deep into it that, you know, it made me, whatever I do in my music, I want it to reflect something that's a resemblance of home, you know, like, you know, so it's like Horus Ra, it makes me feel like, yeah, man, I'm Black in America, but I still feel connected to where my people originally began, you know, out there, you know, in Africa. I don't know necessarily where, you know, but I know that was where I start was, so.
Definitely respect. So where do you call home?
I call home, man. Home is, home for me is really just Cordele, Georgia, probably, where my grandma and them stay at. Real small town, you know. I've been in the city for a lot of my life, but like I'm from a real small town. So it's like, you know, so I find a lot more peace when I'm in those areas, you know. When I'm out here, it's easy for me to get aggravated driving down the street. Oh, this traffic suck, all these and all that. But it's like when I'm in my small town, it's like, man, it ain't no cars. It ain't nothing for real. It ain't no trouble. You know, I like, you know, I consider that the most home feeling to me.
What's your clearest childhood memory?
My clearest childhood memory is probably, the earliest childhood memory I can remember is probably kindergarten. I can remember all the way back to kindergarten. There was a kid in my class named Jake, little white dude. Little white dude used to throw chairs at the teacher. He's just a real bad kid. Like, that kid was terrible. But he was a real nice dude though. Like, he was real friendly. I went to his birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. It's 7. And it was just weird. I was literally the only Black kid at the birthday party. But that's one of the earliest memories I have of living because he was one of the first friends I made in Fayette County, you know? So yeah, so that's definitely one of the earliest memories I have. And like memories of like those old VCR tapes, like the wrestling DVDs, because my uncle, he collects all wrestling, like WCW, WWE, everything. And he used to have the old VCR tapes of every pay-per-view. Bad Blood 2003, WrestleMania 17, it didn't matter. I used to wake up in the morning, probably 5 a.m., put that little VCR in there and just watch it before I go to school at like 8. And like, those are definitely some great memories. Everything wrestling, that's the earliest, like everything wrestling. For sure.
Talk about your school experience. What was that like?
Shit, I ain't stay in high school too long. I dropped out in the ninth grade. I ain't gonna lie. I got kicked out of school, and so after that, I had to. I went to the alternative school. The alternative school was real. They was already treating you like you was in jail. I was like, I'm done. I just left that, and I got my GED. My school spirit was never. It was never the most. You know, I wasn't the most school-spirited individual, but you know what I'm saying, I've always had like a purpose, you know, to do something with my life, you know, whether if it was through the school system or outside of it.
While you were in school, do you feel like there was any teachers or anybody in that that type of institution that was trying to help you, push you towards that direction?
Oh,
not?
definitely. Oh, definitely. It was definitely people there who was trying to help me. You know what I'm saying? It was always like that, but it was about me not wanting to really help myself. I was involved with the wrong people. I was doing the wrong stuff. You know, them folks, they wanted me to be on the football team. They wanted me to pass school. I wasn't passing. You know, I was just I got to high school and I pretty much just did whatever I wanted. You know, and it backfired, you know, because, you know, I ended up just dropping out. I was like, I'm not finna do that, you know. But I got my GED when I was 16. So I left high school so early. I never really experienced a lot of that stuff, like the proms and getting close to teachers and all that stuff and knowing faculty for a number of years and stuff like that. I ain't really experienced that because I left high school early.
Yeah, but at least you're older now. You can admit your faults and stuff
like
that.
Yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I can definitely
think about it, kind of finesse the system, getting your jack 16 and stuff, getting out of there. You do your thing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
There you go.
It backfired though, bro. I always think about how like I was missing like the school proms or like, you know, like the school functions or just like regular kid stuff. You know what I'm saying? I kind of abandoned that to just, you know what I'm saying, be on my own thing, you know, and make music, you know, which I don't regret. I love making music. Ooh, Lord. But I'm also just like, I was also just weary because it was like, you know what I'm saying, I missed a lot of experiencing with kids my age, you know, to hang out with kids who were older than me, pretty much, yeah.
I feel that. So how did your life inside the home and outside the home affect you towards making music? How'd that push you in that direction?
Well, my mom, she's just a humongous Rick James fan, a humongous Prince fan, a humongous everything, like R&B and soul. She loves it. She loves early hip hop. You know, she don't really like the transition of hip hop. So she only really likes to listen to stuff like Dana Dane or Slick Rick or just real old stuff. Like she don't really go into the 90s. She don't go into the 2000s. She stays in the 80s. That's her style. I got a lot of that from my mom, just learning old school music and old school sounds. My dad was real big on singing. My dad was a singer, so like, you know, I've always been kind of like just around people who had a talent with words, you know, and just loving music, because my dad loves music, you know, my mom loves music. And it was just my granddad, he was a big Rick James fan. I mean, he's still living, so you know, he's a big Rick James fan, real big on music. You know, it's just, it pretty much just went through my family, like my whole family was real big on it. But I got most of my influence from outside the home, I can say that much. Like through meeting people like Satch, through meeting people like Khalil, through meeting people who really, you know what I'm saying, they was on the same thing that I was on. It helped me to broaden my own perspective to making music, you know, so yeah, definitely.
What are some major influences in your life?
In my life, shoot, I would probably say, in life, man, Dr. Umar Johnson. I would say Dr. Umar Johnson, man, because, you know, you need a light in the black community. He's a good, positive light for the black community. I support him. I support a bunch of people. I support Reza Islam. Reza Islam is dope. He a real dope political speaker who I'm very much into. Musically, I could name a boatload of people from Madlib, J Dilla, to even Prince, to even just Michael Jackson, you know, all names, Aretha Franklin. You know, I've listened to so much music that it influenced me so much creatively in making my own sound, because it's like, it's me not me not trying to be on what's modern today. It's me building my own image, and it's like in my own style. You know, one of the things that I wanted to do when I first started making music was doing my own thing. And like, yeah, I feel like the influences of just literally Dr. Umar Johnson or just a Madlib or a J Dilla, it all combines together to make you just make your own, you know, your own sound, you know, like De La Soul or something like that, definitely.
Fair. So if I'm correct, you make most of your own beats, right?
Definitely.
So what program do you use, and have you tried others?
I started off on the SP404. That's where I made my first beat. Well, actually, I started off on BandLab. I made my first beat on the iPad, on BandLab app. I made my first probably 10 beats on there, actually. And then I copped the SP404 with a government check that I got from my college. And like the first thing I did was wasted all that goddamn money on this SP404. And I made probably about 100 beats. I just made beats all day. And it was to the point where I just started dropping albums real crazy. This was back when I was probably 18. you know, and I was just dropping albums crazy because I was just sitting up there. But then over the course of time, I stopped and I just started making beats on Koala because when I got on Koala, I was like, man, this machine, it resembles the SP so much, you know, but it's on the phone. I don't need the machine no more. It got all of the same qualities and it has more qualities in a certain sense. It has a better time stabilizer. The swing is better on the Koala compared to the SP. You know, it was just certain stuff that progressed me to go to there. Cause I mean, a lot of people, they do ask that question, like, how you go from the SP to Koala? But it's like, you know, it's easier. It's easier for me. You know, I've made a bunch of beats on the SP and I just found Koala to be a lot easier. You know? Yeah.
Was the SP your first piece of equipment you bought?
Definitely, the first piece.
Gotcha. Is that right after school's over with for you, or?
Right, like basically after the 4th week of your semester, they give you a student check of like $500 or something. I took that $500 and bought a $400 SP.
So that's what's up. So getting started in music, like what year was that? And exactly.
2017. 2017 was when I first started recording for Remedies for Healing. I first started, I was 17. I had wrote the verse already. I had wrote a lot of the verses for that album already. I was just like trying to decipher how I was gonna make the beats and you know what I'm saying, and getting into it. And I was just learning how to make beats. A lot of the beats on Remedies is me developing myself, as well as like, you know, me just rapping, you know, because I wasn't nowhere near, you know, as more sound with production as I was then. So,
what was your initial reaction to COVID when it first popped off?
COVID was crazy because I could never, you know, because I got a dad who suffers from congestive heart failure. I got a mom who suffers from Crohn's disease. I got a grandma who suffers from congestive heart failure. When you have all those type of illnesses in your family, it makes you want to be on your toes and be like, you know what, bro, let's do get vaccinated. I do find certain stuff very skeptical with it. And I do believe that they have used it to try to just, you know what I'm saying, give folks shots, you know. But I do also believe if you are in a situation where you can protect your family member, just do it, bro. Cause, you know, because it definitely, you know, because it definitely helped for me, you know, because I remember when COVID first hit, my dad got it. And my dad was so sick, he was so out of it, we had to boil lemons and all that. And the shot's not gonna affect us, but it's gonna affect the future. You know, it's gonna affect the older generation, you know? Because we can get COVID and kind of just, you know what I'm saying, it go away. But if your grandma get it, it's a different story. So it's like, you know, you just gotta be wary of what decisions you're making, pretty much.
Definitely, I agree, man. There's a lot of things we're young and stuff, we can try to fight as much as we want to, but if you're in certain positions, like for work or for something like that, you can't fuck up your check or you can fuck up your health if you're not doing something right. You can't. And it's a real pandemic, you know, for me to say, you know, it's real. You know, folks stayed in the house for 1.5 years, you know, no matter, you know, it was a real thing. And I can't just sit up there and be like, yeah, man, fuck the vaccine, all that, because it's like, because I'm kind of taking the light away from the people who are actually victims of it. You know, folks really did die of COVID from the thought of not getting the shot. You know, it sucks. You know, it sucks. I do feel like the government be using it though. They definitely try to use it, you know, force people to get shots at times. But it's like, but the Nation of Islam, they've always been big on that. Like, but it's just, COVID is one of those situations where I see a pass for it because it does affect everyday society. Definitely. We can definitely debate the origins of it, but it being real isn't really a thing we can.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I might not think it came from no monkey in Africa, but I do believe that we need to take that vaccine. Definitely.
Got you. So your name alone shows that you've done a lot of studying about yourself, about the things around you, your past, stuff like that. What sparked the desire for you to want to open your mind and acquire knowledge?
When I dropped out of school, bro, I felt like, I don't know, I just felt so closed. I felt so closed off. I didn't have nobody for real. I didn't have no, like, you know, I didn't feel like I had no friends for real. I wasn't leaving the house like that. You know, before I met Khalil for real, I wasn't really hanging out with nobody, you know. I didn't meet Satch probably until like 2 years after Remedies for Healing dropped and my first stuff. So it was a good time period where I was just keeping it by myself. So it kind of just molded me and it helped me, you know what I'm saying, to get to a better position, you know, and really focus on making music. What was the question again, though?
No, what sparked the desire for you to
acquire? Oh yeah, sparked the desire though is pretty much just, you know what I'm saying, it's just pretty much being alone. When you sit up there alone all day and all you love is music and all you love is just that sound, bro, you want to do something. You want to be innovative. Like, it was a dream of being innovative, and it's just doing something. That's my passion for it. It don't matter if my mom agreed with it, because I remember when I dropped out of school, my mom didn't agree with it, but it was just, I had, it's certain stuff, it's certain decisions you got to make for yourself, and that in turn gave me the passion to create. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's pretty beautiful.
What problems do you think acquiring knowledge of any sort, whether it's reading a book, whether it's watching documentaries, what do you think that can solve in our communities?
It can solve understanding what's going on around you. Without documentaries, without certain stuff, like without YouTube videos, because it's easier than a documentary. You can just type in what's going on in the Black community on YouTube. They'll tell you. You'll learn about what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi. You'll learn about what's going on in these different areas if you really want to. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because in today's time, it's kind of slept on, to watch a documentary or something. They'll rather want the TV show portrayal of it, have actors there, like the Dahmer show and all of that. And it's like, it takes the realism away from it. You don't learn the authenticity of what was going on, how these victims, like how the victims' families felt, how, but it's even like to bring that back to more so like the black side, like let's say they make a movie about the Jackson, Mississippi crisis. You ain't never gonna understand what those true victims went through unless you have those conversations with them. You can't base the emotions that you feel off of what you see on a TV show or what you see being portrayed. You gotta actually go out there and watch that documentary. You gotta go watch people, you gotta watch political speakers. You gotta hear what they have to say, because they the only ones that can give you the truth. The TV screen is only there to blind you. Anyway.
Break down your producer mindset versus your rapper mindset.
My producer mindset is very lazy. My producer mindset is very patient. My producer mindset it's the complete opposite of my rapper mindset. I go in the studio, you know what I'm saying? I hang out with Khalil Set. I'm writing a verse in 10 minutes. I'm writing a hook in 15 minutes. It ain't nothing, but it's different. When I'm making my beats, I gotta sit there. I'm like, what do I want sonically? What do I like sonically? What is gonna fit for me? What is gonna give that vibe that, I want for my sound, I don't really just make beats just to make them no more. It was a time period I make like 40 beats in a day. Like, I'm just making beats just to make them, which is the right thing to do. I don't discourage nobody to do that, because, you gotta work at your craft to get good at it, I've just come to that stage where it's like I'm so focused on the theme of my sound and how I want it to sound. I'm completely patient, so it's the complete opposite of my rapper. Cause my rapper is like a raging bull. Like, you put me in the studio, I'm rapping. So yeah.
Whose beats taught you the most coming up?
Who beats taught me the most is Azir. I would say Azir and Satch from Atlanta. Satch is from here, but Azir out of Queens, but he's staying in Long Beach right now. He's one of the artists who inspired me so much to make beats and progress in my style and what I want to do, But famous people, even Khalil inspired me. But famous people, I'll say Dilla, I'll say Madlib, I'll say Ninth Wonder, of course. I'm gonna say Bucka, Shot, man. I can't even name all the amazing producers that hip hop has birthed. Definitely, it's just so many, and I've definitely heard majority of them. And I love majority of them, definitely.
If you can, break down for me your favorite track and your favorite album.
Of mine?
No, just period, yeah.
My favorite track from my favorite album ever, bro. Oh my God, yo. A good start for me that inspired me to get super crazy in hip hop, just crazy. I would probably say Quasimodo, The Unseen, because that was one of the first hip hop albums that really got me super, super duper crazy into hip hop. And I'll probably say Low Class Conspiracy, because I know what that feel like every day when you riding around. You got weed in your car. You gotta worry about the police. You got drugs. You got gun. You gotta deal with that. I know what that feel like. It's a very, yeah, that's a great album. But a lot of stuff from Madlib, J-Lib, inspirational, The Far Side. Souls of Mischiefs, that was one of the first hip hop groups I ever heard. 93 Till Infinity, just a beautiful song. But number one though for me, it's Probably Quasimodo, Madlib. Quasimodo, Madlib.
That's your favorite album. What about your favorite track of all time?
My favorite track ever? Whoo! I would probably say, oh my God, Next Level Showbiz AG, the DJ Premier remix.
Okay, fire. Have to check that one out. Talk about the moment you decided to take music seriously.
I was 16. I had just got suspended from the alternative school for the second time. I was on probation. And I literally went in my house. I called my uncle, rest in peace. I called him. I was like, yo, I'm contemplating dropping out of school because I want to rap. And like, I literally said this to probably about 3 other people. Like, and everybody who I said it to was like, man, you crazy as fuck. You bugging, bro. Like, what are you doing, bro? Stay in school. What you doing? My uncle was the only dude who was like, man, I support you, bro. Just do you, man, and do it to the best of your ability. And like, after that day, I literally called my mom. I told my mom I'm dropping out of school. And me and my mom, we got into a whole big altercation about it, but you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I was gonna do what I was gonna do anyway. You know, shoot, I was, you know. But that was the day I really was like, yeah, I gotta make these beats. I gotta start moving. I gotta get serious if I'm gonna make it, you know.
Talk about making connections. Does it have to be organic or can it also be beneficial?
You know, it's so crazy. One thing I can say, I've been one of the worst people in the world at that, at making connections, because I'm such of an introverted individual. I don't be outside every day at all. I'm so normally just in the house chilling. You know, I learned that making connections is more so about, you know, it is organic. I'm gonna say it's organic because the connection that I made with Satch, which was the first dude who I met who produced the music video for me, directed it, everything, like he did, you know. It was just an organic thing. Like, I met him, we was talking about drums because he was into the bass, I'm into the drums. We got into that, and next thing you know, we was recording a video, you know. It's about finding people who share those common interests with you. And it's about being open to what that person might make, you know, because a person, they might be into your music and you make that boom bap hip hop, but they make that trap music, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't no reason to be just shitting on them because they make trap, you know? You just like, you know, hey man, you're in your lane, I'm in my lane. But there ain't no reason for us to not support each other because we both still going for the end goal, which is to get on. So, you know, it's about just understanding what lane you want to get in, not being biased with your lane and gatekeep it and be like, nah, you can't come in here, you can't come in. Like, you can't be like that. You got to just be openly and accepting the people that you meet in your life.
What inspires your creativity at the moment?
At the moment, Ill Mindset, the music I make with Khalil, the beats that I make with Khalil, that's a real big inspiration for me today. Releasing music and pretty much making it, you know. That's my inspiration to make music is creating. Like, it's just weird, but it literally is. Like, if I'm not creating it, I feel sort of lost in a sense, you know. I'll take a lot of times, I'll play chess to avoid making music. But if I lose 5 games in a row, then I'm like, man, I shouldn't even be playing chess nowhere. I should be out here making beats, you know? And it's like, it's just a natural desire, an innate desire to make a beat, for real, like, definitely.
So since we talked about Ill Mindset right now, talk about your group and the last album you guys just put out.
We just dropped this tape, man. I met Ill Khalil probably about 3 years ago at this point, man. And like, he's just a dope MC. And when I heard him, I was already in the process of like, man, I want to make a tape with you. Like, I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was already in that process of wanting to do it. You know, we was just building our relationship up to be able to make it, you know? So after about a year, we got to that point where we started recording songs, and we got to the point we recorded so many of them, we was like, okay, we can drop this EP now, you know? And so once my birthday came around, I was pretty much like, I had a conversation with my homie Satch, and it was pretty much like, yeah, you need to drop it, man. You need to let people hear it, because we done held it for about a good 1.5 years, 2 years. So it was like, you know, you got to drop it now. So, you know, we put it out for the world to hear. You know, we done got pretty good feedback from people and let us know they love it, definitely.
Was it a continuing conversation for you guys? Like, are we gonna be a group, or did it just happen after all these songs were
I literally remember it like it was yesterday. It wasn't even like we had a conversation about being no group, bro. It was just like Khalil pulled up one day, and I had the beat ready. And I'm like, yo, man, record, man. And like, he recorded, I recorded. And then once we finished the song, we heard the song together, and we were like, man, this song is sonically dope. And that kind of just started the process to where every time we would link up, we were recording a song. So before you knew it, we was just a group naturally. You know, I ain't really have to ask Khalil, hey Khalil, you want to be an ill mindset? You want to make a group? You know, we just naturally became a group through the songs that we was making together.
Fuck yeah, man, that's the best way to do it. Talk about some sacrifices you made to get to the point you're at right now.
Man, I done sacrificed a lot, man. I done sacrificed a lot. I done sacrificed semesters of school. But one thing I can say is that my parents, they've sacrificed a lot for me. You know, that's one thing I'm gonna say for sure is that the people around me, they sacrificed a lot for me because I'm not nowhere near where I want to be at right now. But my parents, they continue to support me. My friends, they continue to support me. They continue to help me. We continue to be on the ground together. You know, that's all I can really ask for. Like, honestly, it's just a good, solid support system who care about me and who really looking out for my best interests at heart. You know, but it's a lot of stuff that keeps me going. My brothers keep me going. My brothers gonna always keep me going, whether if we talk or not. You know, because we're just, you know, we're the same blood, man. Like, and ain't no, you know. So I'm definitely inspired by them to keep going, to just help my family any way I can, because I know my mom don't have it all, you know. But it's like, any way I can help you, you know, I do it.
Besides that support system you have, where you just talked about right there, is there anything you do to deal with self-doubt?
Well, man, when I'm dealing with self-doubt, I could sometimes, it just depends on the day. Sometimes I could crawl into a hole and not come out for days, just make music and just do me. And then some other times I'm like, man, you know what, bro? Let's go to the club. Like, let's go to the club and let's actually, you know, let's experience something to make you feel better, to make you feel more, you know what I'm saying, where you can feel less doubtful of yourself, because it's all about confidence at the end of the day. And I'm not afraid to say that there'd be certain times I lack self-confidence, you know, when it comes to this music or just in life, you know, and it's a work in progress every day. But that's another reason why the support system is very important, because when you're a work in progress, it's good to have somebody who's just there for you, whether if you down and out or you not, you know, so yeah.
So what aspect of being an artist brings you the most joy?
Man, the ability to make something I love and it becomes a finished product, like, cause I'll make a beat and I'll sit on that beat for like a month. Nobody record on it, nobody nothing, you know, but I'm always sitting up there, I'm listening to that beat, I'm like, man, this beat gonna go somewhere. If I can just get the right people on that beat gonna go somewhere, and I'll just sit there with that thought. It could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months, but once Khalil get in that studio, once somebody get in that studio who I want in there, and we on that bitch and we rapping, the picture just comes together. It's like, it's literal art, like it's literal art, like that. It can't be duplicated or manifested except by the people who created it. It gives me a sense of individuality, because it's my music at the end of the day, and can't nobody make my music, you know. Yeah.
Now, I want you to think of anywhere in the world you can think of right now. Where would your dream show be?
My dream show would be, my dream show would be, God, I don't want to perform at the, what's that spot called, where Ice Spice had performed at? I don't want to perform there, bro, because they ain't gonna treat us right. Where we need to perform at? We need to perform. So where's that spot in New York, bro? Where like it's like in a closet. It's like in a closet, and it'd be a bunch of underground rappers. They come in there, they just spit super hot verses in New York. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh man,
I can't remember what it's
called. It was on TV.
Nah, bro, it's on Concept Jackson been on it.
Oh, you're talking about Top Shelf.
Top Shelf
Premium?
That would be the most.
They did that shit out of what's it called, a barbershop.
Oh god,
yeah. That shit's fire.
Very fire.
Yeah, I learned about a lot of dope artists from there for sure.
Yeah, man.
That's dope, man.
I would love to be on Top Shelf one day, definitely.
Oh yeah, man. So I want to talk about Spirit of Stone Off remedies for healing. Yes. When you said making shit that Farrakhan can bounce to, that really stuck out to me for sure. And that shows to me that you want to make purposeful music. So like, is there a message or feeling you want to get across in your music?
The message is like, man, when you're rapping about your pain, bro, or just being a black man in society, man, you know, you're gonna do it the most authentically as possible. No matter how much they try to take this culture away from us, it's gonna always be our culture, you know, and it's gonna always be made for black people to express themselves and individualize themselves. You know, sometimes you gotta take the good with the bad, because some people, they individualize themselves in a negative way. You know, they got the guns, they got the hoes, they got all this, that, and the third, you know. But it's like, hey man, a black man's identity is a black man's identity, and I support just building your own identity. That's why it's like when I made like the shit that Farrakhan gonna bounce to, it's gonna be something for people of the black community to bounce to. People of the educated black community can bounce to. It's a reason why I specifically used Farrakhan for that line, because it's like one thing that I can say is that I'm cool with all of the ignorant people listening to me. Well, I mean, and I ain't saying you dumb as fuck, if you know, but like if you into more so like the ratchet music or some shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm all for it because I love it too, you know what I'm saying? But I also make music for, you know what I'm saying, for intelligent black people, you know what I'm saying? I'm not making music where it's just gonna be, you know, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, you know, all that, you know. Nah, it's gonna make you conceptualize something and think about something, you know, Spirit of Stone.
Are you spiritual or religious, or neither?
I would say I'm religious. I have a dream. I haven't fully committed myself to Islam, but I do have a dream of doing it, you know. I want to put myself on that path to where I can become a fully devout religious man. I went through periods of time where I was an atheist, and I went through periods of time where I was a Christian, you know. It was just, you know, it's all about just finding yourself, and I lost myself plenty of times, you know. Which, you know, I feel like I'm getting to that place where I'm like, yeah, like, Allah found me, you know, I'm not finding him, basically.
If you want to talk about it, is there anything that you can talk about that's stopping you from taking your Shahada, or is that something you haven't really done?
It's probably just like my own personal commitments of stuff that I'm not doing right, that I feel like I'm not doing right. I'm probably, you know, smoking too much cigarettes, smoking too much weed, you know, not abstaining from sex, you know. I don't want to make a commitment to a religion if I'm just going to be on the same bullshit that I was on before I got in a religion, you know. So it's like if I just join the religion, I'm out here, I fuck 1,000 hoes a day, I do this, that, and the third. It's like, why did you even do it? You didn't do it to change yourself. You did it for the image of what the religion brings, you know. And that's kind of my dream. I want it to find me, you know, rather than me just like being like, yeah, nigga, I'm this, I'm that, and, you know, and just making people be like, oh, okay, he real Islam, but he not. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I practice very serious, like I practice very seriously. I do shalat. I'm like, I abstain from pork. I do a bunch of stuff, but you know what I'm saying? But I'm not at peace with myself mentally to be like, you know, and I'm not gonna force myself to be neither.
That's fair, bro. So I know you're not from Atlanta specifically, but what about Atlanta and the surrounding areas? I know with music are doing very good. What do you think we can do as a community to get better?
We just need, I feel like all Atlanta could use is just more diverse venues, less open mics, less paying open mics where you have to pay your money to perform your song to a mixed crowd. You know, I feel like for the hip hop community, if you want to build a true hip hop community, you need to build shows that's centered around hip hop. Weekly shows that could be something that, you know, what I'm saying? I'm not telling them to boycott Future, you know, like, ain't what I'm saying, but I'm saying that for the kids who not really trying to be on it, who ain't trying to sit up there and ingest that all day and go to the club, because it don't matter what club you go to in Atlanta. You could go to the Reverie, Club Life, MJQ, you gonna hear that same music, you know. There's no window of opportunity for people who are making educated hip hop to even get through the door, because everything you hearing and everything that's popular is something that's ignorant, you know. So it's just, you know, it's tough. So if us as Atlanta want to build a better space for creative artists, you know, we need to have more shows that, you know what I'm saying, that is centered around bringing up that image. Actual, you know, very good photographers who will pull up to these shows, make sure that these are, you know, make sure that this got a good light shed on it, you know. You know, we have the opportunity to do that. You know, we can't just sit up here and open mics, charge people $10. People of all different genres and everything coming in there together, and then it's like you want them to feel my music, but it's like they not there to listen. You know what I'm saying to me? You know, you want to perform for somebody who want to listen to you. You know, at the end of the day, it don't matter what the artist is. You know, Ice Spice don't want to go to top of a shelf and perform, because niggas up there at top of a shelf, they don't want to hear that. But if you go to MJQ right now, they don't want to hear shit that Top Shelf got going on. They don't want that Concept Jackson in the club because it's, you know what I'm saying, they trying to dance with their girl, you know, so it's, you know, it's about just bridging that gap to where it's okay to have separate entities. It's okay to have, you know.
Are there any outlets at all that that can do that for you guys or not? Are there any outlets at all that can do that for you guys?
A Young, we got a homie named A Young. I'm sorry, but we got a homie named A Young who is real big on. He does shows for our community. You know what I'm saying? It's still a mixed crowd with him too, but you know what I'm saying. But A Young, he loves hip hop. It's not even more so about it because like a dude like Big Crit, he not rapping on boom bap beats. Big Crit, he rapping on southern beats, but it's what he talking about at the end of the day. The clubs don't want to play Big Crit because Big Crit, he not rapping about ignorant stuff. Big Crit, he'll probably have the trap beat on, but he rapping something intelligent. So it's easier for them to be like, nah, man, we don't need that in the club. That ain't gonna make, you know what I'm saying, that ain't gonna keep stuff shaking, you know. You know, I don't know, not many venues, but that was what A Young show reminded me of. It's like, there's trap artists, but it ain't really no ignorance. It wasn't no ignorant artists at the A Young show like that. You know, it was a lot of just intelligent brothers coming together. But as far as a consistent space for hip hop heads, I'm pretty sure, I don't really think there's any. I'm gonna lie.
Currently, whose music makes you want to be a better MC? Listen to that shit, like, damn, I need to get in the studio, I need to level my shit up.
Man, Rock Marciano, of course, first is always gonna be Rock Marciano, man. Rock Marciano changed my life, man, when he dropped M Roots, man. Like, man, well, you just a pawn on the chessboard. I move pieces on squares like Louis sneakers. Like, Rock Marciano inspired me like a motherfucker. Westside Gun, Supreme Blind Tale. It inspired me, you know. And I know how people love to say Westside Gun, he ain't the most lyrical dude, you know, he ain't the most lyrical cat, but, you know, and to some extent that's true. But, you know, for me, before I even dropped my first album, I heard Supreme Blind Tale. And I loved his cadence, his style, his energy. And I'm like, man, you know, there's a lot more that goes into rapping besides just being there on that bar every time. Like, you just barring niggas out. You know, sometimes you need some personality. You need some swagger. You need something like that, you know. So, yeah, I'll probably say Westside Gun, Rock Marciano for sure. You know, Mock, of course, Mock. God Fahim, I give God Fahim his credit too. He's a very dope MC. You know, Bodie James, he ain't bad. Bodie James is dope too. I listen to Bodie James. I like his music with the Alchemist. But yeah, definitely. Those are probably my top 5 of today.
Definitely.
Today.
Rock Marciano doesn't get the flowers that he deserves for sure.
No, never.
His last album was crazy. That was
never.
Dope, so.
Rock Marciano has been out since Flip Mode Squad, like 90s. Like, Rock Marciano was literally out with Busta Rhymes. Like, he was really there. Like, you know, a lot of people, they don't know that. They don't experience, they don't know that. They just know that he came back and he just made these beats on loops and his beats sound different. But it's like, man, Rock Marciano has been in this culture, like, before. Before he was producing his own music, Rock Marciano been in the culture, so yeah.
What are some milestones and short-term goals you want to do right now?
My short-term goals is finishing up this Khalil album, the Ill Mindset album, and getting that ready for November 25th. I want to get that done. I want to shoot some visuals for Ill Mindset as well, some more visuals besides Luca Warm. I want to do a visual for How Can We and Salam and all them joints. I want to do more visuals. My long-term goals will probably be, I just want Ill Mindset to expand, and I want people to separate it from me as a solo artist, because I mean, you know, people, they'll listen to me anyway, you know, you Stone Cold Moves, Spirit of Stone, you know, people, they gonna go and listen to that. But it's like, you know, the Ill Mindset is my favorite body of work, you know, so I want my long-term goal is for Ill Mindset to be remembered as my favorite body of work, you know, so yeah.
Have your morals ever stopped you from pursuing an opportunity?
Yeah. It's definitely been opportunities that I've had, you know, because I was, you know, I've had opportunities with certain individuals, and like, you know, we'll have a falling out with that individual, and like, you know, you ain't gonna sit up there and just, you know, you're just gonna sit up there and stay in it. You know, you're gonna do your own thing. You don't need to depend on nobody, you know, to do your own thing if you want to do it, you know. I've definitely turned down opportunities to collab with people, you know, if I ain't really, you know, if I'm not feeling it, you know. I've done it all, you know. I've done it all. People can feel how they want, they can say what they want, but it's like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. It don't matter what type of person you are, it don't matter, you know what I'm saying, how good of a person you are. And it depends on what you did, like, you know what I'm saying, like if you out here, you're a predator, you out here doing crazy stuff, I'm not gonna collab with you, you know. And it's not because I hate you, you know, because there's predators who make good music. You know, it's a lie to say R. Kelly didn't make great music, but that bit's a predator though. You know, that's the fact of it. So it's like, for me to sit up there and reach out my hand to collab with you, you know, that's gonna bring a bad stain on me, because that's not what I believe in, you know. So I'm very big on morals when it comes to collabing with a person.
Who instilled that in you? Who or what instilled that in you?
Shoot, my dad is so big, because my dad, he always told me as a kid, don't have no friends. But my dad, he ain't never really had friends for real. Like, one thing my dad, he from Cordell, Georgia, like that small town. The only friends he got is his family. You know, all the other people in his life, you know, he don't trust nobody. He always be like, man, you gotta be able to differentiate if a person's a good person versus a bad person. And it's also about stuff that I've experienced, because I've had a brother who got killed by trusting the wrong person. And it's just, you know, and it's like, you just gotta be wary. You gotta be more wary than you think you gotta be of a person who is a snake in your life. So, yeah.
My condolences, bro.
I appreciate it.
Talk about Swiss Army Records, who they are, and how'd you get connected with them?
Swiss Army Records is a label that was started by Promise, my homie Promise. He also, I call him Satch. Goodness God, I call him Satch. But Promise started the label, and he's been doing it for a long time. He had a group with Fred E.T., real dope artist out of Atlanta. Real dope artists, like I wouldn't sugarcoat their work at all, like, and that was one of the first glimpses I've heard of Swiss Army Records, was through the music that Satch made with Fred E.T. And after I heard that, they're called Fourth Quarter, the group called Fourth Quarter. But after I heard that, I pretty much got a good gist of who was all in it after, because Satch was one of the dudes who invited me to go see shows and meet celebrities like Jamonte Agbon, and I got to meet these dudes, man, like at actual concerts and seeing them in person through Satch. That's where I got to meet other people who were desiring to be on the label, you know, and it's a real dope collective, and it's completely alternative. That's one thing I can say about Swiss Army. For anybody who don't know what Swiss Army Records is, it's the epitome of alternative. Talia B, Cheba, us, Destiny, anybody else, man, them folks, everybody makes a different sound. It ain't nobody whose sound the same in Swiss Army. Satch beats sound completely different from mine. My beats sound completely different from Cheba's. You know, it's a complete diverse atmosphere, and it's real love, and it's black. It's all black, so yeah.
You guys take the time to connect all together, or you guys are separately out there doing your own thing?
Separately, you know, we separately. I spend most of my time with Khalil, Satch, and Cheba, because Cheba is a real dope dude. Cheba, he don't, you know what I'm saying? Cheba, he don't, you know, he's easy to link up with, he's easy to get in contact with. He's an amazing individual. Like, that dude is, yeah, definitely.
When did you achieve full confidence in your skills?
Shit, I was probably confident in myself in the 6th grade. Like, even when I was lying about verses that I wrote, I was confident in them. Like, I remember being in the 6th grade, it was Childish Gambino. What's that song with Childish Gambino, bro? Fire Fly, I think it's Fire Fly, bro. I used to go to the gym, right, in 6th grade, and I just rapped the verse like it was mine. I lie like a motherfucker. But nobody would notice. Nobody would be like, oh my God, bro, oh, Jordan Hell, bro. But it's like, nah, but it's a Childish Gambino, right? but I thought I was so fire, right? I thought I was so fire. I'm like, man, I'm fire. It's a bit, man. I'm fire. Like, you know, one thing I never had a problem with was being confident in my ability, you know. Even before I was even good at it. I was so like, I just had such a belief in me that I'm like, man, shit, I'm gonna fake it till I make it, like, you know, in a sense, like, but yeah, I've definitely been confident in my rap probably my whole life, literally. I can say that.
Now I want you to talk about Cold Eyes off Don't Lose Your Cool.
Of course.
There's a bar up there I really want you to break down for me. Division is enhanced in this prism. What does that mean to you?
Division is enhancement. When you living in America, bro, when you living around the cultural, all these different cultural connections, you know, division is just natural at the end of the day. You're gonna be forced to be divided in a sense. You know, you go up there to Long Beach, California, a lot of the blacks, they're moving out, you know, because it's getting so over-infiltrated with Hispanics, you know, and it's just, us as a people, when we're in this prism of reality, which is the United States of America, it is designed for us to be separate, you know? It's designed to keep the cultures not cross-connected and nobody to know the beginning of their culture, you know? You know, whether if it be just, because it's not even just black and white, it could be the blacks and the Samoans, the blacks and the Cambodians, it could be, it's not just white people that we're divided from, you know? But we are divided from them very heavily as well, though. We're divided from each other, so, you know.
What has making music taught you about life?
It taught me that, man, don't give up on what you're trying to do, man. If you have a dream, just do it, bro. Under all circumstances, bro, you know, you never know what song people gonna fuck with. You never know what song gonna blow. You never know unless you drop it, unless you release that song, unless you put that into the world, you will never know. Because I never thought that Stone Cold Move would have got as big as it did, or Cold Eyes would have got as big as it did, or Spirit of Stone would have got as big as it did. I didn't know that. I just was making songs, listening to them on loop, and then just dropping them. Like, you know, you'll never know. You know, it all starts with a chance. You got to take a chance. That's like music has taught me that, seriously.
I know you say you're completely confident in your music skills, but is there anywhere you feel you need to improve musically?
Shoot, I could probably improve on like mixing my beats, shoot. But Khalil, he do majority of the mixing anyway, so like, but probably like mixing my beats. I could probably be more consistent in making it, you know, and getting on my grind to make beats every single day and getting back on that, you know. You know, that's probably what I feel like I need to improve on the most, is getting back on that grind to do it, you know, definitely.
What about business-wise? Anything you can improve on business-wise?
Investing in yourself. I can invest in myself, you know, a lot better. I feel like, man, be able to get more visuals out, get more content out of me and Khalil, you know, of me and Satch, you know, of everybody, so we can get more eyes gauged into it, you know. You know, certain stuff costs a lot of money, but it's like you gotta make that sacrifice if you wanna make it. You gotta put that investment in yourself. You gotta put your money into yourself, put your time into yourself. So yeah, so I would definitely say that that's probably what I could work on the most, is getting more visuals.
When it's all said and done, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Only legacy is just being, man, a black dude who was different and was not afraid to be it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and it's okay to be different, bro. It's okay. You don't have to sit up here and gauge this line. You know, you can be on this and then be on this. You know, you can be on your own thing. Like, I come from brothers, like all my brothers are in gangs, you know. You know, everybody on the hood and stuff, but I make boom bap music, you know. You know, it's about just being able to, knowing what you love and doing what you love to do. You don't gotta do what nobody else loves to do, period.
What new artist should we look out for?
Y'all should be looking out for Azir. Y'all should be looking out for Spody, Yo Khalil. Y'all should be looking out for Cheba. They should be looking out for Destiny Green, Talia B. They should be looking out for, they should be looking out, boy, there's so many artists. A Young, they need to look out for A Young, for real. A Young is dope. Feel Good, signed to Love Village Records. Love Village Records, real dope artists, man. It's a bunch of, but I need people to get on Azir. Rose Gold Flamingo, I can't forget Rose Gold Flamingo, my homie Kareem. Azir for sure though. I want people to get on that man. Azir, that man has been doing it for too long. Get that man his flowers. That man is a beast.
Are there any things you're working on coming up for next in the year? Like, what's next for you?
The Knowledge for Free album. Probably another tape with Il Khalil, actually. You know, I got some beats made that I wanna put towards him, you know, because I believe in that dude's future. That dude is an amazing MC. And so that's probably my biggest thing, is just that, and beat tapes. I've definitely been planning on dropping some beat tapes, you know, for the community, you know, because even if I'm not rapping, I do like to just make my beats and show the world.
All right, man, thanks so much for pulling up, bro. Appreciate you.
No, man, always, man. Appreciate you.